Boom. Today on the Orin Club's channel, where we talk about nothing but platformers, we are going to be playing Crash Tag Team. There are no other words after that title, and do not look it up, or else. So, what is this game about? Well, as I said in the very short intro, this is a platformer in the long-running Crash Bandicoot series, which is now currently dead. Again. This game was released in the era of them not really knowing what to do with Crash all that well. Twinsanity was something new and a cool idea, honestly, and I actually like that game, but it does have a major issue of it not being finished. But what can you do? I still think that game is a fun time. That game moved away from the linear hallway levels from the original 3 Crash Bandicoot games to be a bit more open. There's still a lot of hallway parts in Crash Twinsanity, but there's still a lot more open-ended parts as well that you can explore. So why am I talking about that game? Well, I feel as though a lot of the explorative elements from Crash Twinsanity made its way into this game, whether that was intentional or not. As Crash Tag Team is way more of an exploration-based platformer with the goal of running around an open map trying to find power crystals instead of it just being a hallway. Speaking of the power crystals, why are we trying to get them? Well, let's go over a bit of the story real quick. I won't spoil the ending, I'll just give the intro. Crash and Cortex are in vehicles trying to kill each other, which I guess is a reference to the cover, as that is the only time you see cars in the entire game. They then arrive at Von Clutch's park, who asks the gang to recover his stolen power gems and the black power gem that keeps Von Clutch alive, as there's a thief in the park who has hid them all around the park, so you gotta go find them. The overall story in this game can be pretty witty and fun at times, though for some reason there are many times in the game where they just decided to add Like I said, I'm not going to go over the ending of the game or what happens or any twist that happens in the story, but overall I think the main story is fine. There's no real glaring issues for my children's Bing Bing Wahoo game, but a lot of the writing and the side stuff can be a bit of a hit or miss at times, which I'll go over more later. But after that small story segment, the game begins. You get put into the tutorial and it tells you the controls such as jumping around, hanging onto walls, spinning, belly flopping, everything you need to know about Crash Bandicoot. I think this is a fine tutorial. It does a good job of teaching you everything. The only thing I don't like about the tutorials in this game is that it literally tries to tell you absolutely everything. For example, just look at the screen, that's like 3 pop-ups in a couple seconds. It extends a bit after the tutorial too, but not that long. It's just kind of annoying for a bit. Did you know that if you click on a YouTube video, it lets you pause it? But okay, I'm kind of overblowing this issue. But let's be real. How does Crash actually control? Honestly, he controls very well. I think he controls great. Spoilers, I guess I lied. Well, this isn't really about the main story, but this isn't really a big game. If this was a full-on dedicated big platformer with the controls like these, I would honestly think it would be a really good game. Crash controls completely fine. It's definitely not as precise as Crash 1 to 3, but they're trying something new here, so I'll give them a pass. It works well for the kind of game this is, an exploration-based platformer. But once we're done the tutorial, we get to the main hub, which is honestly pretty well designed, There are 5 worlds you can go to. Mystery Island, Toontown, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Happily Ever Faster, and Astroland. The main hub makes it super easy to get around, minus maybe getting into the T-Rex world where you need to just take a moving platform to get to, which isn't a big deal, but like, why? I guess another world that's kind of weird is that you have to jump on a tent to get to it. You would think that this is a theme park that you would make it easy for your guests to enter the worlds, but I guess not. I mean, I guess the theme of this whole area is it's supposed to be like kind of a shitty version of Universal or something. The workers are not treated well. Speaking of the guests of the park though, why are they so obsessed with Crash? They just walk up to him and go, "What the hell is that?" Just look at them. Why are they doing this? Get away from me. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the design of the World Hub. Like I said, it's pretty well designed, ? As in, the design is okay. It's literally just a circle. The other 5 worlds are connected to the edges of it, so it's pretty easy to get around considering it's just a circle. It makes everything feel close together so it doesn't take too long to go anywhere, which is probably why I like it so much. This doesn't only apply to the World Hub as well, it applies to all the other worlds too. It's pretty nice to be able to go quickly anywhere. Overall, it's pretty nice, compact, and it doesn't feel overwhelming. Going a bit into the worlds, they also don't just have power crystals for you to collect. There are a bunch of bonus things you can collect which range from being pretty neat, but it can also sometimes just be like, Alright, let's finally talk about this. I've mentioned this several times now, but this game has quote-unquote collectibles. Some of them are pretty cool, like different costumes for characters. And you can also just straight up buy power gems from these workers who always have a different voice, which is probably the funniest thing in the game for me.
Excuse me, dear fellow. I seem to have found this rather sinister evil crash outfit. I would never use it as it's not part of my character. Besides, it doesn't fit in the derriere. Pity. I do think it would work wonders on you, dear boy. For mere tuppence, you may purchase it to commit evil deeds.
Hey, now we're talking. Finally, I can afford some real clothes. I don't have to stand around here looking like a chud.
You could buy these costumes and power gems from the workers by breaking crates or attacking enemies or just collecting them around the map, which is actually neat. You get rewarded for exploring the map and getting coins. That's awesome. However, there's another type of collectible in this game, the death cutscenes. You activate them by walking up to something in the world and hitting a specific button. Sometimes you spin into them, sometimes you push Y. There's a few of these I got a chuckle from, but most of them are just not really funny. Kind of like me. I feel like the best kind of writing in games like these are ones that are made for everyone. Some of the humor in this game feels like it was made for toddlers, which is weird because a lot of the writing in this game, when you talk to the characters or you buy something from one of the merchants, it makes it feels like it was made for an adult. It feels like the death cutscenes were made for the kids and everything else was made for the adults. But realistically, that's the only complaint I can think of. I think so far this is the only thing I hate. The main story, it's good. The side characters are fun to talk to. The platforming, it's great. The music, which I didn't mention yet, is outstanding. Like, take a listen. The music in this game isn't like the old Crash games. They changed it to this style starting with Twinsanity, but I really like these tracks. Let's go back to talking about the worlds. Overall, I think this game looks fantastic. Each of the themes of the worlds are very well done, and they visually look amazing. Well, okay, amazing is probably a little too much, but I think it looks great. This game is mostly exploration. A lot of the areas don't really have super hardcore platforming sections. Most of the game is easy, and it's really just meant for getting around. But in each of the worlds, there are a couple of power gems hidden around in really hidden areas that you need to do super tight platforming to get to, which I think is awesome. Not only is the player rewarded really well for exploring the map, but also completing a potentially difficult small platforming segment that they seem to have found. And these aren't marked on your minimap. You actually have to go out and find these. There are even extra minigames in this game. One of them is bowling, and like, come on, who doesn't like bowling? And the other is a rail shooter with different rules like don't miss or you lose, or prevent the snakes from falling on the workers. One of them though has you throw literal cow shit at the enemies. I don't really know why they were obsessed with making this kind of humor in this game, but what do I know? I make white boy video essays, I don't know a goddamn thing. Overall, besides the game sometimes being unfunny, there's actually one more thing I don't like about the game that I just thought of, but it's pretty minor so it doesn't really matter. Maybe? Actually, I changed my mind. It does matter. Why is there only one enemy in the entire game? The only enemy in the entire game are these ninja penguins, which they're boring after a while. I don't know if this game was rushed or not, but it doesn't feel as rushed as Twinsanity. This feels more complete. So why is there only one enemy type in the entire game? You could have even fixed this by just dressing them up in the worlds they're in as the theme, like put the penguins in a spacesuit if they're in the space world. Make them cavemen in the dinosaur world, I don't know. But throughout the game, they are ninjas. To beat them, you have to belly flop on them. That's it. And with that, I believe there's only one more thing in the platforming we need to talk about. The power gems, like the big ones that were stolen. You know, what the game is about. Once you get enough of the smaller ones, you can open up this machine that'll just lead you straight to the big one you need to collect and beat the world. It's pretty simple. But once you do that in all the worlds, you beat the game. But that is the entire game. Overall, I don't think this is like something amazing, but I think it's a fun time to just have in an afternoon or something. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Crash Tag Racing. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. What is that? Fine. You got me. I was lying. I will discuss the element in this room. This game is a shooter. And this time, it's not a bit. Why am I still denying the racing allegations when the game says racing in the title? Well, let's start from the beginning. This is labeled as a racing game. In the hub world that I've been talking about for almost 11 or 12 minutes now, they are actually to get to races. In the worlds, there are 3 different race entrances you can walk into, and also an additional one, like maybe a trick stunt area or a battle arena. Once you walk into one, you pick which character you want to play as and go crazy. The costumes you can unlock, which I mentioned before, are not just for Crash, but they're for other characters you can play as in the races as well. But you cannot play as these racers unless you fulfill a certain requirement. Sometimes when you talk to one of the characters in the park to do the side quests for them, they'll have you get a collectible that's hidden in one of the worlds. Once you bring it back, you can now play as that character. See, there's substantial content here. This is the makings of a good game. Like I said before, there are 3 tracks in each world along with a battle mode or trick mode. All of them are themed after the world you are in, and the tracks actually visually look pretty good. I personally think that the old Crash racing games looked a lot better for sure, but this honestly doesn't really look bad. But that is called nostalgia bias. The controls, however, are not like the old Crash racing games. If there was a racing game called Generic Racer, this would be it. A is go, B is brake, and if you tap B, you drift. And the drifting does not feel good at all. That is it. Racing in this game, it's like, alright. It's nothing exciting. The track designs themselves are also kind of bland. They're not really exciting to play on compared to the old Crash Tag Team Racing games where you have shortcuts you can take using skill or track design you have to learn to get the best time. It's all pretty straightforward in the design in this. I don't feel like I'm being tested in my skill when I race in this game. Racing games usually need something to separate itself from the rest, even if it's something small. This game does have a mechanic like that, but are we saved? No. This is an example of a mechanic that completely overshadows the racing and turns it into another genre of game, a shooter. You can push the Y button, I'm playing the GameCube version, to turn blue, and if you crash into an opponent, you fuse with them, which is a cool idea. But that's all it is, an idea. When you fuse, one person drives and one person shoots. You can also push Y to deattach again. This of course gives you a speed boost when you separate from that person. You might be thinking or saying to the screen, wait a minute Oren, does that not mean you can fuse with someone and then have them drive 3 laps to the finish line and then defuse with them right at the end to get a speed boost and win every single race without actually having to race? That is correct. When you fuse with someone, you can just have the AI drive to the end of the race and then right before they hit that final lap, defuse with them and win the race. This almost always works. This is the most optimal option. The best way to win at Crash Tag Team Racing is to not race, as the maps themselves aren't really even that fun to race on in the first place. It's more fun to be the other guy in the fused cart, because the other person in the cart is the gunner, and they get to shoot. And that's why this game is a shooter and a platformer, because the platforming is fun and the shooting is also fun. Each character in the game has a different weapon. While shooting, you can use your character's weapon or the one you fused with. You don't pick a racer based on their racing stats, if that's even a thing in this. You pick them based on what weapon you like. I picked Nina because she has a shotgun, and I love shotguns in my video games. The shotgun almost always 2-shots the opponent if they are close, and destroying enemies and targets around the map gets you a boost, which when full lets your AI or who's ever driving do the turbo boost, which increases your car speed by a lot for a bit. In this case, since the AI is almost always driving for me, they will always use it immediately. And because I get so much boost from killing so many enemies and hitting so many targets, because the AI is useless at doing that, we're going to be going super fast and be in the lead a bunch. So here is my gamer strategy that works in almost every single race. When the race starts, immediately fuse with someone. Use my gun of choice, usually I use the other person I fused with weapon, to take out all the enemies. Because they're so close by at the start, I take out a bunch of them and my boost meter fills a bunch of times. My AI then boosts to the lead, and we're pretty much in first place throughout the entire race. If anyone dares catch up with us, I will shoot them. I think I might have 5 to 10 minutes of footage of me actually racing in this game. However, because I'm in first place 90% of the time, I'm not going to be looking in front of me. I'm going to be constantly looking behind me. Oh, I just love working like this. I don't really get to see what the map looks like going forward. I see it from behind. And if I'm being honest, after a while, even though the shooting is fun, it gets kinda stale. There is a limited amount of ammo in this game that prevents you from staying on forever, but if you don't waste it like I did, then you won't run out. Or if you do somehow run out, you just defuse and then fuse again and you get all your ammo back. But I didn't need to, because there's another type of ammo in this game. There are item boxes in the race. There is only one bad item in this entire collection of items you can get from the item box, and that is the chicken. You throw it at someone and they take a bit of damage. That's it. There's also a monkey, but instead of taking a little bit of damage, they take a lot of damage. And I believe there are 4 more items that are just way more stronger than that, and you get them a lot. One of them is a homing shark, which one-shots anyone. The other 3 are basically the same, except they're just themed different. One is a cow, one is a submarine, one is a piano. You throw it, it creates a cloud of something, and anyone who runs into it instantly dies. Because I'm always in the lead, I just throw it behind me and get like 5 kills of people running into it. Because the AI will catch up to you, because the rubber banding in this game is absolutely bonkers. It's another reason why playing as the racer just isn't that fun. They catch up to you super quick. It does not feel rewarding at all to be in the lead. But that still doesn't matter if they catch up to you anyway if you're the gunner, because when they catch up to you, you just shoot them, and then they die. They get put in their place. The legit only way you can lose in this is if one of 2 things happen. There is a tiny chance that the AI might decide to defuse with you, which does happen sometimes at the end. I don't know what triggers this. This maybe happened 2 to 3 times to me. And then the other one is if the AI just decides to be weird. Like, what are you doing here, dude? The racing in this game is really non-existent. It's just lock and load. But that's pretty much the quote-unquote racing. There are 2 other modes though. There's the battle arena, which is actually pretty fun, because it's the worst part of the game removed in place of raw shooting, which is the best part of it. These are really fun to do. It's an arena where you just blast your opponent. I do wish the arena was a bit better designed instead of it just being a circle. The other car mode in this is the trick mode, where you do tricks off ramps by moving the joysticks. I don't think you can do this in the normal races though, so why is this even a thing? They're also very, very, very easy to complete. But that is the entire game for real this time. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but because I also don't have footage of it because my save got corrupted and I didn't want to do it again. But I do want to comment on something. The platforming segment I was talking about before earlier in the video. I have a comment on that. Why is there even platforming in this? I like the platforming in this game. I thought it was fun to explore and the worlds were very vibrant. It really felt like I was in a theme park. They nailed this aspect. It's fun to walk around and explore things. It's not like the best thing ever, but it works. But again, this is a quote-unquote racing game. I feel like the racing hub worlds were perfected with Diddy Kong Racing and Crash Team Racing. Those hub worlds were awesome, and you're in the car the entire time driving around. I don't mind the platforming at all in this, like I've said many times now, I actually like it. But if you buy a game called Crash Tag Team Racing, and you get this, you might be confused. Now, I didn't really get to experience this because I didn't really want to ask anyone to play Crash Tag Team Racing with me, but this game does have co-op. And I wish the campaign had multiplayer or something, because if it was, I feel like the experience would be heightened, even with the bad racing. You could both just trash talk each other and have a good time while one drives and one shoots and you swap and you just have a really great time. It would be awesome. It might actually make the racing aspect more bearable. It's a real shame. I honestly think this game does everything that makes a great game, except for the part that is called racing. The platforming is fun, the music is great, the costumes and collectible are great, unlockable cars, that's cool, the minigames, they can be fun, the shooting is fun, but the racing, it's fucking horrible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing or leaving a comment. You can also follow me being insane on my Twitter account @OrenClubs. But you're a real cutie for watching this video. You have a good night, or morning, or whenever you're watching this.